In the news, in the headlines, you'll see a lot of mention of the quote unquote millennials or the millennial generation. It seems that this generation is causing a lot of controversy for the older generations. And you have to ask yourself why this is. And why this is because they are the first generation to be raised with the internet. The internet has completely changed the paradigm that we live in, the way of life. A lot of it's because of this age of information that we've been presented with, and these these millennials and even the generations after the millennials are no longer in ignorance because all the information in the world is just at their fingertips, and there's more and more information being produced than ever before. Where the older generations, they lived in a one-dimensional way of receiving their information, and that was through the corporate outlets. That was through the television or the radio, which were all owned by a handful of corporations that kind of controlled the ideas or ideals of the mass public. Now, this millennial generation and the generations after have a new way of thinking. And with this new way of thinking, they no longer have to live the American dream, or whatever you want to call it, where you get married, you buy a house, you have kids, you have this 9-to-5 job at a corporation, you come home, you just sit down, have a beer, and watch TV for the rest of the night, and then kiss your significant other and kids good night, and then rinse and repeat. This was very, very, very common. Not everybody, but for the masses, that was the normal life that you were supposed to live. And now with the internet, people see that they have choices. They don't have to live that way if they don't want to. They don't have to work for a corporation from 9 to 5. They don't have to buy a house and have a mortgage for the next 35 years of their life. They no longer have to have kids. They can create whatever life that they want. They see more options because they're presented with more information from people that are living these different types of lives. And then the tools are also there for them to carry out these different types of lives through the internet. They're able to create their own corporations and, make money in other ways than just a 9-to-5 life. And it creates a lot of controversy for the older generations because it's just a shaken up model where they're like, why aren't they doing what we're supposed to do in this life? And what they don't see is there's a whole different world that these millennials and other generations have to live in. They no longer can live or support a family off of one corporate job, support a wife and kids, and have a house. One job can get you very little, and that's why both parents are often working, and then the kids get, not taken care of or any attention paid to them, and then it's created this type of vicious cycle. And with the millennials and the generations after, they're starting to see this, and they don't want to get trapped in this life that they saw that their parents and their grandparents are living. And it's really interesting to see because it's a huge contrast just in the last 100 years, and it's really hard for the older generations, and it creates a ton of friction which can be overcome. But the older generation expects the younger generation to live the normal life, chase the American dream, and the younger generation doesn't understand why their grandparents don't get technology or don't see that there's another way of living. So we'll see how it pans out in the next 100 years. It's just a really fascinating time to live, seeing these destructions of the old way of thinking, whether it be religion or work or family life. Everything's really being shaken up, and it will be interesting how things, come to be. If you'd like to learn more, check out my books in the description. Otherwise, I'll chat at you next time.